Welcome back to the 815 Exchange. I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336 once again. I am home for the next 2 months, so we will be live from the 336 probably for the remaining episodes. Up till then, it feels good. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. But you know who didn't have a happy Thanksgiving? Nate Robinson. And we're going to get to him very shortly, but I want to first remind you to like, share, and subscribe. Do all that to help the channel grow. If you're enjoying, let me know. Please leave feedback. Please leave comments. Your ideas of what you want to hear from, your ideas about the episode in question and the episode below. Please go ahead. Feel free to. It's why it's there. Also, it's long-form content, podcast. Timestamps, as always, are in the description. Now, like I said, a certain person did not have a great Thanksgiving. Didn't have a great Friday. Well, I'm going to say he probably didn't have a great Friday. Didn't have a great Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start off this 815 Exchange, episode 17, I believe, with a memorial. With a moment of silence for one Nate Robinson. Thank you. Now, we're gonna start off with the biggest event of the past week, and it was supposed to be Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. And I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But ladies and gentlemen, Jake Paul in the second round. The second round. Really, it probably could have been done in the first round after Nate got knocked down the first time. Because let's be honest, he had quit. You could see it in his eyes. He was in trouble. He did not want to be out there. Suddenly, this wasn't the NBA. And then he got knocked down again at the beginning of the second round. And then about 13 seconds later, Jake Paul put Nate Robinson unconscious. To the shock of many. Not to the shock of me. Again, if you don't follow me already, follow me on my social medias. Of course, that's in the description as well, or at the end of the video. On Twitter, I'm very active, and there were the people per usual at these type of things that do the whole if you retweet and like this tweet, I'll cash app you. Of course, they don't ever go through with it, but I threw my hat in a couple of those. But I'm not surprised. Nate is a great athlete. He's a phenomenal athlete. But like it's been said many times since the fights, boxing is it's just different. It's just different. Combat sports in general is just different. Even though you may be athletic in one sport, it may not always translate to another. And especially in a sport like boxing where skill is so important, even though you have guys like Deontay Wilder, but even Wilder has some element of skill. And Nate's, I don't know what his training camp was. I don't know who his trainer was. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what their plan was exactly. But you knew as soon as he charged Jake from the outset that he was in trouble. He was absolutely, undisputably in trouble. I did not expect the knockdown to be that gruesome. I didn't know if he was going to get knocked out like that. I thought maybe he'll make it to a decision. But no. Nate's entire pride in all three of his NBA dunk contest wins should probably be stripped, because that was a flat-out embarrassment, especially after he stated that this was for his NBA family. Nick Young tweeted. Actually, everybody tweeted. We had those great Instagram stories, great Snapchat story reactions, including one of mine. I know Rick Ross had his comments on it. Boosie had a very good reaction to it. But basically, Nate Robinson does not need to show his face for quite a while. I know he made the IG post saying, and which credit is due. I have to give Nate credit for stepping into the ring. Not everybody would be willing to do that. Also, even though I'm spending most of my time here clowning Nate, have to give credit to Jake, and I'm going to get to his situation a little bit later. Um, he went out there and did exactly what he said he was going to do a round later, but once again, the ref was honestly being nice to Nate, and he could have stopped it much earlier. Some people say he should have and think he was being a bad ref, and you can argue that. But he said went out and did exactly what he said he was going to do. Nate Robinson, like I said, does not need to show his face for a while. Twitter had a field day, an absolute field day with this man. I'll see if I can just pop some of it up, here and there. I forget. I think it's right here. Some of the general reactions here. Or I might just full screen this. I don't know. Nate, you went outside, my brother. You went outside. You set us back. You set the NBA back. My gosh, what a knockout. I mean, he fell down face first. All right. Let me moving on somewhat from the tragedy which was Nate Robinson's death on Saturday. Let's talk about the victor here, Jake Paul. The internet's number one villain, the most infamous person on the internet, possibly. One of the most hated men on the internet. By quite a reasonable distance. He's definitely in that highest tier, I'd probably say. He's up there. Jake did his thing. I expected him to win. He won in dazzling fashion. He looked really good. And if I'm being honest, I think the matchup, of course, to make is him versus KSI. Even before this matchup, I think that's the matchup that should have been made. That's got to be the matchup. I know JJ is doing music right now, and he's in that space right now. But it's time. JJ, you're talking a bunch of crap online. We got to keep PG out what it says. But JJ's been talking a lot online. I mean, Jake talks a lot online, obviously, but let's make it happen. I know y'all worried about money. Forget the money. This is bigger than money. Y'all gonna make more money if y'all fight than y'all will take in whatever the cut is, probably just off of the revenue you could generate off of it. Let's make it happen. And when that matchup happens, because I think it's inevitable. If I'm being honest, I know Jake is the villain here, and hear me out. KSI, JJ that's my guy, right? I've been subscribed to him since almost day one. Before 1 million subscribers, before 500,000 subscribers, I've been here since day one. I was subscribed to JJ when the Heskey videos were coming out. FIFA funnies. Back when he was living at his parents' house with Deji in the next room, and he had the strange haircut. I don't know what you want to call it, haircut. But since day one, when we just started meeting and making videos with the Sidemen, before they were an official brand. Pro clubs. I've been here since day one. I've been subscribed to him probably longer than some of his viewers have been in puberty. JJ's my guy. Love him. Proud to see what he's become. But with that said, I don't know if I can pick him over Jake. I'm gonna be completely honest. He nearly lost the Logan Paul fight. If it wasn't for Logan getting penalized, he would have lost that fight. If Logan had actually been aggressive and thrown like I think Jake would, I don't think Jake would get whatever you want to call what Logan had going on the day of that fight. I mean, not to say JJ won't get better and he'll become technically better, and I'm sure he'll have a good game plan, hopefully. But if I was a betting man, I would have to pick Jake, to be honest, because I just think he's the better boxer than JJ, and I think that's the way that fight would go. I don't know what the result would be, but I'd have to pick Jake as of now. Once again, I just want to see the fight. I think everybody wants to see that fight. Jake does not want the Conor McGregor smoke. I know he said that. I know he's pushing for it, because of the bag. Same reason that Logan's about to fight Floyd. But But no, you even though he'd be the bigger man, you do not want that smoke. Connor's left hand took Jose Aldo from the GOAT to a mid-level fighter. You do not want this smoke, and he did that in 13 seconds. You do not want the Conor McGregor smoke, even in boxing. Austin McBroom, absolutely go for it. Actually, I would love to see that fight because somebody's ego is going to get touched. Probably Austin's, I'm going to be honest, because I don't think Austin's catching up to Jake's level that fast. Who else did they call out? Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis can absolutely get the work. Dylan Dennis, phenomenal grappler. He is not a phenomenal striker by any means of the word. I don't know if you could even call him a good or decent striker. But he makes his name on the ground. Boxing match might be interesting, especially if Jake continues to improve the way he has. So I'm actually fine with that matchup. Who else? I saw Evander Kane's calling him out, Robin Lehner, just a bunch of celebrities have been calling him out. No, do not feed him James Jones just so the NBA can get their thing back. Absolutely not. Do not do that. That is a setup. But yeah, Nate got murked. Rest in peace. He leaves his children, his wife. I think he has a wife, or a significant other, whoever. Praying for you. Praying for his family because it was a sad sight. It was a sad sight. It was also a very funny sight, thanks to social media and to Snoop Dogg. And shout out to Snoop, Izzy, and Morrow. They did a phenomenal job on commentary. So bravo to them. They were great all night. I could definitely see Izzy becoming an on-air personality after his MMA days. Of course, Mauro Ranallo is one of the best commentators, I think, personally, especially for combat sports in the game today. When he was at WWE, he was the best. Just a great talent, And, of course, Snoop is always entertaining. Also had a great set musically, so shout out to Uncle Snoop. Speaking of uncles, the main event in the headliner was basically two uncles fighting. Mike Tyson versus RJJ. Roy Jones Jr. Did not win that fight. I know they called it a draw because whatever you want to call for it. Which beautiful. That's great. Love that for y'all. That was not by any means, a draw. If we're being completely honest, that was not by any means a draw. Mike pretty clearly won that fight, but nonetheless, he said he was willing to go again. Roy Jones Jr., I don't think he's willing to go again. Superman, Captain Hook, he was a great fighter back in his day, number one pound for pound back in his day. But he's whatever the level, I texted my friends, whatever the level below washed is what Roy Jones Jr. is. Mike, not that Mike isn't washed, but Mike actually looked pretty good for his age, I'm not going to lie. He looked good. Had a good game plan, and won the fight, but, draw whatever money, if people's feelings are getting hurt. Nonetheless, it was a great event, actually, and yeah, double event put on by them. It was nice to see them, too, regardless. Of course, we got that highlight reel knockout of Nate by Jake, Badou Jack, the dude that fought Badou Jack, I have to give him credit. I don't remember his name, but, he stood in there, took a bunch of damage, and just, he stayed in there. Wasn't going to win the fight, but proved his toughness. There were some very good fights later on. I was watching football, college football by then. But at the end of the day, great event. Very entertaining event. Gave us something to watch on a Saturday night. So, shout out to them. And, Jake, fight KSI, please. All right, transitioning here from combat sports and to including my transition, ladies and gentlemen, since I am, in fact, back home, unofficial water sponsor is Deer Park. Please, Deer Park. You see the numbers. We going up. We're having some solid improvement. I mean, you just might as well. You see the potential. You might as well just slide me a check, and I can keep promoting you here. Officially instead of unofficially. I mean, you might as well. But back to college football. Clemson. Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Lawerence is back. Clemson handles Pittsburgh 52-17. Also with this, because I have a lot actually. I know I don't have the will per usual when I'm home, or I didn't list it. I have quite a bit to talk about. So I'm gonna kind of breeze through some of this football stuff because there's quite a bit. But I will talk about some of the major stuff like this Clemson game. Clemson, Trevor's back, 26 for 37, 403, 2 touchdowns for him. Shout out to Cornell Powell. He's definitely had to put himself on some draft boards. This was his senior season. He's been on the back burner behind a lot of great receivers, but he's showing this year that he himself is a great receiver. 6 receptions, 176, and a touchdown for Cornell. So shout out to him. Trevor Lawerence honestly probably could have had more yards and touchdowns in this game, but they got called back. He threw some of the most beautiful footballs, that I have seen in my life in this game. The decision making. He's just, even though I know they were playing Pittsburgh, even though Pittsburgh's not an awful team, they're respectable. But of course they're not like a top tier team. But just watching him, he looks like clearly this is the best player in college football. This is the guy that should be the number one pick. This is the guy the New York Jets should be taking first overall. It's different. He's just different. And that's the best way I can put it. He just looks everything, the way he throws, the way he runs. I know it sounds like I'm writing him right now, but dude's just different. So yeah, shout out to him. He's back. Very excited to see what Clemson does the rest of the year. Fully expect them and Notre Dame to rematch in that ACC championship. Everybody wants to see it. Hopefully they can get it done. And yeah, Iowa State 23, Texas 20. Breece Hall, I haven't given him much shine, but I have to give him some shine. One of the best running backs in the country. Might be the first running back off the board next year. He had 91 yards and a touchdown, but the big story here, Sam Ehlinger's final game probably at DKR for Texas, final home game. Not a great way to go out. Very interested to see what his legacy is going to be. I'm not sure if Tom Herman's going to have a job after this year, to be completely honest. But Sam can absolutely not take that sack. And then I feel bad because Cameron Dicker's one of the best kickers in college football. Dicker the kicker. Dude missed the 57-yarder. It had the distance. It just went to the left a little bit. But honestly, I can't blame him because if that's not a 57-yarder, but that's a 50-yarder, as I think it should have been, that's money in the bank for him. It's easy. But good win for Iowa State. Notre Dame beats North Carolina 31-17. Ian Book goes 23 for 33, 279. Kyron Williams, though, did a great job. He got a lot of run. This was on a Friday. 23 attempts, 124, and a touchdown for him. So that run game was definitely going for Notre Dame. Also, like I've said periodically throughout this season, very impressed by Notre Dame's defense. Carolina's got one of the most lethal offenses in the country with Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, Diami Brown, Daz Newsome, and of course the quarterback Sam Howell. Held him to 17 points and really took control of that game. Ian Book has been looking better and better each week, I've noticed. Notre Dame might be for real. Once again, hopefully we can see them in the ACC Championship versus Clemson because that's going to be a great matchup. Because even though I gave DJ his flowers already, but even though DJU, great quarterback, Big Cinco, Trevor is just he adds another element to that offense, and he's got his acclaim for a reason, and adding him into that game makes that such an interesting matchup. So hopefully we can get that. Oregon State won the Civil War against Oregon, 41-38, big upset here. I told y'all about Oregon. I said I wasn't impressed, and here we go. Faltered here. Had a feeling that they were going to slip up. Like I said last week, Pac-12 is not sending anybody to the college football playoff. Not a single team from the Pac-12 should be going to the college football playoff, us included. Kyle Trask, who I think should win the Heisman, or at least is my Heisman favorite this year, 34-10 over Kentucky, but all 3 touchdowns went to Kyle Pitts, the best tight end, I think a future top 10 pick. especially if he solidifies himself at the combine. If they have it, I mean, who knows at this point. But Pitts and Trask, probably the best quarterback to receiver / tight end duo in the country right now. Pitts returns with a vengeance, man. 3 touchdowns. Trask is up to like 34 touchdowns, I know, through the air. But yeah, I think he's the Heisman guy right now. I think he's fully deserving with the way he's played. Oklahoma State and Texas Tech was straight chaos. Oklahoma State 50. I mean, as you would expect an Oklahoma State Texas Tech game to go, especially in 2020 with these two teams. OSU gets the win, 50-44. Go Pokes. Desmond Jackson, 235, 3 touchdowns. Impressive performance. Normally we hear about Chubba. Chubba got hurt. Desmond Jackson stepped right in. First 200-yard game this season for an Oklahoma State running back. So great job to him. Northwestern takes their first loss of the season against Michigan State, 29-20. This Michigan State team continues to be up and then down. And when they're down, wow, I did that awful. Up and then down and way down. Like when Michigan State is bad, they're bad. But Mel Tucker, first-year coach, I have to realize, got to give him his due. His 2 wins have been about as good as wins you can get at Michigan State. And they knocked Northwestern off of the undefeateds again. I didn't expect Northwestern to run the table, but yeah, they kind of they're stuck at this 20-point mark. If you look at their past games, they all have scored around that 20-point mark, and it seems as if you can put more than 20 on Northwestern, I think you got a good shot at beating them because their offense is not that great, and if you can get past their defense, though they have a good defense, I think you have a good shot at winning. Bama dominates the Iron Bowl. Mac Jones, 18 for 26, 302, 5 touchdowns. I have to give him his flowers. Dude's been great this year. I mean, normally and justifiably so. I usually talk about Devontae Smith, or when Jalen Waddle was hurt, I've been talking about him. John Mechie. He does once again have a bunch of future NFL receivers. Mac Jones has been doing his thing. He's proven himself to be an NFL quarterback. A worthy draft pick. Might play himself into the first round. Depends. We'll see. But he's also having a great year. He had a phenomenal Iron Bowl in his last Iron Bowl. So yeah, Bama, justifiably number 1 team in the country. They've been the best so far, which is about what you'd expect from Alabama. The JT assault continues for Georgia. They win 44-16 over Scar. I know James Cook and Zamir White, Zeus, they combined for 4 touchdowns, I believe. TAMU beat LSU 20-7. TAMU probably will retain that 5 spot. We'll see. LSU is just bad. I don't know if there's ever been a worse team coming off of a championship. Like, this is a mean national championship hangover, even though I'm sure LSU fans would absolutely trade this horrible, horrible season for the glory that was last season with Joe Burrow and that offense and that entire team. Just being honest, that team was incredible. But they're not too incredible this year. They're one of the worst teams in the SEC. TAMU gets the win though. Coastal moves to 9-0 against Texas State. That's one to watch. Like I said, Coastal undefeated. They knocked off Appalachian State. They're top of the Sun Belt, I believe they're in. Definitely can see them running the table. They got to make some noise. Got to start moving them up the rankings. I think they need their respect at this point. 9-0, no matter what the competition is that's not something easy, or everybody would be doing it. Biggest news possibly from college football, though, if we're being honest, which was to the surprise of a lot of people. Though, in retrospect, honestly, I'm not surprised to see him doing this well. But I don't think anybody could have expected Buffalo 70, Kent State 41. Jaret Patterson, the Buffalo running back, 36 carries. Sounds like an NCAA football stat line. Bring that game back, by the way. 409 yards and 8 touchdowns. 409 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. Ridiculous. Second highest mark behind Samaje Perine. And he probably could have broke that record, to be honest, if they kept him in. But, I mean, I knew he was a monster. I knew he was a monster when we played him in the Bahamas Bowl, Charlotte, I'm talking about. Last year, I knew he was a monster. He showed out there. Dude is a monster. He's got my respect, absolutely. And, yeah, great game from him. Shout out to Buffalo. Shout out to Jaret Patterson. Got to be on some draft boards. Got to be in some Heisman talk, especially with the season, especially after that game. So, yeah, shout out to him. All right, sliding very quickly to let's do all college right here. Let's do all college right here before I get to the next thing. College basketball. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, college basketball is back. Clap it up. Yes, yes, yes. College basketball is back, and a lot to cover if I wanted to cover everything, but I'll just get the highlights here. Richmond took out Kentucky yesterday. Actually, I'm recording this, of course, on a Monday, and you'll probably watch this on a Monday or a Tuesday, whatever. Richmond wins 76-64. BJ still had 20 points, but he went 8 for 20, I think. Great win for Richmond. Of course, apparently they didn't play their best game. I didn't get to really see much of the game. People telling me Richmond didn't really play their best game, and they still won by 12 points. That's very impressive. Richmond might be one to watch. Kentucky always slips up, especially with the freshmen. It's going to happen. I wouldn't hit the panic button too. It's early days. Virginia Tech beats Villanova despite Colin Gillespie's 25. Nova was the number 3 ranked team in the country. I think they were a little overrated, if I'm being honest. So Virginia Tech beating them going to help bring them down closer to what I think their ranking probably should be. Though still a very good team, just not number 3. I'm a Duke fan, for those that do not know. Many of you probably already know if you know me. But Duke is my other college team. We get the win 81-71 against Coppin State. Jalen Johnson, our star freshman, 19-19-5 with 4 blocks. One of the best debut stat lines I've ever seen. That's if you don't look at the fact that he had 7 turnovers and that us as a team had 23 turnovers, which is why the game was so close. Definitely got to clean that up. Still an impressive debut by JJ. I didn't know really what to expect from him. I knew he was a great player, but 19-19-5 and 4 is ridiculous. Just for any game, but for your debut game, that's crazy. Hopefully it's a sign of things to come. We'll see. Gonzaga, Drew Timme, one of the best bigs in the country. Jalen Suggs, one of the best guards in the country, and a surefire one and done in this special 2021 basketball draft class. Gonzaga looked like the number 1 team in the country. Got some real good wins. I know they beat Auburn. Speaking of Auburn, free Sharif Cooper. They need him desperately, and I want to see Sharif play. I know the whole agent stuff with his dad, but just come on, bro. With everything that's going on this season, just let him have a pass. Let the boy play. But yeah, Gonzaga looks like the real deal. They got some players, even besides Timme and Suggs, but Timme and Suggs looking like perennial All-Americans and quite possibly National Player of the Year players, caliber players. Gonzaga's real. They're going to be contenders for sure this year. UVA loses to San Francisco. My dad was in shambles after this one. Not really. He actually seemed like he had a feeling, which, you get it sometimes. You have a feeling. UVA was probably a little overrated at that 4 position. I think they'll be all right in the long run. Good one for San Fran, though. They've always been one of those teams in the WCC in Gonzaga's conference that have kind of lingered, given them some trouble. So, great win for that program. I think UVA will be fine, though. Now we're going to slide over to the music and film world. Music, film, and TV, but there's really nothing going on in TV for me to talk about. There's also nothing going on in movies for me to talk about. But music has really picked it up the past couple weeks. I can't lie, I have to admit. I'm going to start off with my boy Cordae. Shout out to Naomi Osaka. But also shout out to Cordae, because I got to put respect on his name. Because The Parables, which he dropped this past week, phenomenal track, phenomenal song. I think he's going to be one of the best rappers of this new generation, of this next generation. I guess it's my generation because it's about my, age group. But I think he's going to be one of the best of our generation. And the Parables is a song I think that's a testament to that, a testament to his skill and ability. And I think he's gonna be perfectly fine without that YBN label. I think everybody kind of realized that he was clearly a level above Namir and Almighty J. And I think Cordae's gonna be fine on his own. So yeah, if you haven't listened to it, highly recommend it. If you're into that hip hop space, The Parables, great song. Sliding over, Lil Wayne, controversial figure lately. Uh, dropped No Ceilings 3. Um, I've listened to it fully off of first listen. I haven't listened to it a second time, but off of first listen, I got to give it. I think I'm gonna give it. I gave what? I gave Pluto times Baby Pluto an 8. I think I'll put it also. I think I'm gonna put No Ceilings 3 as an 8. I think it was definitely better than No Ceilings 2. Um, BB King freestyle with Drake, that was a great track. Really one that grew on me. I've listened to that one multiple times. And also Lamar, I think those were my two favorite tracks off of the entire project, off of the mixtape. Also, shout out to him for putting his sons on there. I forget what the song was, but one of his sons kind of went off. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of made it into the playlist. I was thoroughly impressed. You know, I had to give him his flowers where it was deserved. But nah, Wayne did his thing. Classic has some classic stuff on here that you expect from him, uh, and from a No Ceilings project. But yeah, great, great job from him. I give it an 8. I know it's not like a 9 or a 10 or something elite. I'll get to my 9s and 10s because there was 9s and 10s this week. Uh, but yeah, shout out to Wayne. Know he's a bit of a controversial figure, and you determine whether you wanted to listen to it or not. But I give it an 8. BB King. Oh, there's some other songs also I think that after second listen probably would have slipped into that top tier of songs for me and may or may not raise the rating. But yeah, 8 is what my final score for No Ceilings 3 is. AJ Tracey, if you're into the British hip hop scene, here's one for you. Or if you're even looking into that, even just a hip hop fan alone, AJ Tracey drops Secure the Bag 2, 9. I'm gonna come straight out with it. I've listened to it twice. Almost actually, I've listened to it multiple times. I'll say all the way through. AJ, one of my favorites in that scene. This was one of the best albums I've heard. Um, in the past couple. I'm gonna be honest, one of the best albums or projects I've heard in the past, or across all genres over the past couple weeks, months, however you want to determine it. I'm gonna give it a 9. LA for a Week 2 was my standout track. Even though there's a couple different tracks I definitely could have put there. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Especially, if you're into British hip hop, you've probably already listened to it. But if you're not, or you're looking to get into it, I know it's not all. I know we like to meme, but the whole thing, I know it's part of the whatever the culture. But just from a pure musical standpoint, which is the kind of discussion I want to have here on the A15 Exchange, pure musical standpoint, no misses, no skips. Excellent job from AJ. He put on Secure the Bag 2. That's a 9. That's a 9 for that. 9 for that project. Definitely gonna be a project I'm going back to quite a lot in the next few weeks, until it eventually plays itself and is rotated out of the playlist. But even when I might go to back later, months and months from now, it was that good. It was that good. Um, Sliding over to the ladies, Chungha, the woman does not miss. She does not miss. This run she's been on since Gotta Go was dropped, I think, January 2019, has been ridiculous. The woman cannot miss at all. She cannot miss. She's like MVP season Steph. She cannot miss. She dropped Dream of You with DJ Rehab. Shout out to Rehab. He did his thing on the beat. But yeah, Chungha. Honestly gives me Janet vibes. I'm not going to lie. She gives me Janet Jackson vibes. And that's meant in the utmost of compliments. because Janet, one of the greatest female artists of all time, she knocked it out of the park. All English as well, so easy to understand, easy on the. I mean, it's phenomenal. If you're asleep or if you haven't been put on, you've been put on officially. Chungha, shout out to you. You killed it. Yeah, phenomenal song. Sliding over to, it's not actually on my notes, but it dropped this morning, and I listened to it, and it was, once again, I'm about to put y'all on. Kai. Kai dropped his self-titled, I guess, so you call it self-titled? Yeah, self-titled mini album, Kai. 10. 10. Ladies and gentlemen, the first 10 I'm giving out here on the A15 Exchange. It was a perfect 10. If you're looking for some smooth like R&B sound, look no further. Look no further. If you just want that type of vibe, the album, not even just the songs. My standout song off of 2 listens right now is Reason, though which is the title track, has definitely grown on me. And Kai, he's known for being, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna just be honest, quite possibly the best dancer and performer of this generation, period. Really went out and he showed out on this album. I can't lie. I didn't expect nothing less. This was highly anticipated for me. I knew he was gonna kill it, but just a round of applause for Kai. Just listen. Just go listen to it. Go listen to it. Go catch that vibe, cause it was beautiful. I might talk about it next week, so I can actually formulate a good review. Cause I feel like I'm almost speechless. It was one of the best. It's definitely an album of the year conversation in that space for me, and across all genres, it might end up in my album of the year conversation. I'm not gonna lie. Even as it being a mini album, it's at an immediate disadvantage because it's only a couple tracks, but dude, just perfect. So great job, Jongin. Great job, Kai. You did your thing. Excellence was the expectation, and you may have exceeded that. All right, so the NFL, and of course, in the NFL, it's always a big week, even though we've had a lot of COVID stuff, like with the Broncos, Kendall Hinton, who hadn't played quarterback since his freshman year at Wake Forest. In that game, which I might as well just start off with that as I slide and try to pull it up here, because I really would like to see what that final score was. 31-3. That was possibly the worst quarterback play I've seen in an NFL game in quite a long time. For reference, Taysom Hill, 9 for 16, 78 yards and a pick. Hinton went 1 for 9, 13 yards, 2 picks. I can't even be mad at Kendall, because what a terrible situation to put somebody in. I feel bad for the Broncos for even having to play in this game. They were just at an immediate disadvantage without having a quarterback. And I mean, Saints, easy dub for them, but the quarterback play from both sides was just awful. Absolutely awful. What else? Steelers, Ravens got pushed back. I know that's on what? I think did they move out again? I think it was supposed to be on Tuesday or whatever, right? But nonetheless, both teams now done with COVID cases. Know that Steelers were originally very upset about that. What you're gonna do though? So yeah, I need to take a water break before I get into what I'm looking at right here. The Washington team that still has no mascot. The Washington football team beat the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving 41-16. I know you're expecting me to start yelling and get real angry and get a real Stephen A. Smith moment, even though probably the opposite because Stephen A. hates the Cowboys. I know that's probably what you're expecting. But honestly, I'm thankful. Washington gave me something to be thankful for. Because I've been saying that top 10 pick was going to hit different. But no. I was wrong. This top 5 pick is going to hit so different. And I am thankful. I am thankful to the Washington football team for absolutely demolishing us on national television. I am thankful for Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore showing their incompetence. I don't know why. And this was one of the worst calls. I know middle school coaches who wouldn't have called that fake punt. I know people that probably don't even know football. Probably don't even know the names of the offense or defense. They probably don't know offense or defense and wouldn't have called a fake punt in that situation. But I am thankful. I am thankful that y'all showed y'all incompetence. That y'all showed how bad we really are. Because just maybe, and I know I love to give coaches time to finally, but no, that was a fireball offense. Just maybe, Jerry Jones. I'm not worried about the draft. We're going to get a good draft pick. We're going to make the right choice. We draft pretty well, I think I can say that. But I'm thankful that our coaching, that the lack of effort from some of the players, I'm thankful that got exposed. So I thank you. For the first time in my life, I thank you, Washington. Even though you're still a mediocre franchise with a mediocre front office, with a couple mediocre players. Though some of my greatest family members and friends are, fans of your team. So give credit to them. But I am thankful. I am thankful for what you did to us. Because this top 5 pick is going to be, we need it. We clearly need it. And we also need change. We need a change in the culture. So I am thankful. That's all I want to say. Time check. All right, we good. Once again, like I said, I got a bunch. I don't want to make this a 2,000-hour long podcast. So kind of briefly slide through some of these. Texans handled the Lions. Shout out to Deshaun Watson. He's really hit his stride the past couple weeks. Let's see what he had in this game. If I can pull that up real quick. Yeah, have him on my fantasy team. He dropped a 30 bomb. I actually might be the best team. I have lost 4 straight games in fantasy football because of Deshaun and because of him. Actually, I did pretty good this week. I'm not gonna lie. Because of his 30 bomb, I might actually win this week. I mean, we'll see. I'll try to keep it on the tuck. But we'll see. And I'm playing possibly the best team in the league. So. But yeah, Deshaun, 4 touchdowns, 318. Shout out to Deshaun. Matt Patricia gets fired. Same thing with the Lions GM. So changes coming in Detroit. Falcons obliterate the Raiders 43-6. Bills take out the Chargers 27-17. Herbert, not one of his finest games. Same thing for Josh Allen, to be honest. So 2 quarterbacks that are having great seasons didn't have great games. Bills moved to 8-3, have firm control of that AFC East. Like pretty much everybody's predicted that they'll win. We'll see how they do in the playoffs, but this is a good win for them to have. The Giants take out the Bengals. Bengals suffering from a lack of Joe Burrow. They should probably be sued if Penei Sewell does not get drafted by them this year. If they don't draft him or they pass up on him, they honestly should sue because they need offensive line help horribly bad. The Giants have now taken control of the worst division in football. Even though they're doing pretty well right now, I will want to reiterate that not a single team from the NFC East should be allowed to be in the playoffs, much less host a home game in the playoffs. Not a single one of us deserves it. It's like 4 kids, that are a little bit lower on the intelligence aspect, and you have all of these kids succeeding, but then you just have us 4 just sitting here and just knocking each other over and just being terrible and incompetence. Though I mean, credit where credit's due. Giants playing better, but nobody's from our conference. I mean, they beat the Bengals 19-17. Listen, Titans take out the Colts. Derrick Henry went ballistic. 178, 3 touchdowns, takes control of the rushing lead. I said it earlier in the season. Derrick Henry needs to be in convo for best running back in the game. Vikings beat the Panthers late. Chad Beebe, I have never seen a man go from cut in his release papers being signed to, hey, you're a good egg. So fast in my life. He muffs the punt, then gets the touchdown to win it. But you know what? That's football. Kirk Cousins had a great game, 34 for 45, 307, 3 touchdowns. Shout out to Kurt. Let's see. Patriots get a game winner against the Cardinals. Keep their playoff hopes high. As much as I've praised the Cardinals, they're still 6-5 at the end of the day. And it's clear that team still has some improvement that's needed before they should be taken seriously as a contender. Dolphins beat the Jets. Fitzmagic's back. Tua's hurt. He got hurt during the week. Nothing more to say about the Jets. Everybody should be fired. I don't know if you should retain anybody on that team. Jets fans, if you're even still watching or if you're even still sober enough to be able to comment, please tell me who's redeemable on that team. But soon enough, you have the golden boy, Trevor Lawerence. Please don't ruin him. Even if you get Justin Fields somehow and you somehow manage to win some games here and don't go 0-16, please do not ruin one of these phenomenal quarterbacks. Please. All right, the Browns beat the Jaguars 27-25. Ladies and gentlemen, can we just give a round of applause? A round of applause for Browns fans. You deserve it. After everything you went through for the past, 2 decades, 20 years, you've been the laughingstock of the league. You've went through a whole lot from a lot of people, including me. But you are 8-3. You will not have a losing season. You might even go to the playoffs. Congratulations, Browns fans. You deserve it. Let's see. 49ers beat the Rams on a game winner. Shout out to Deebo Samuel. 11 receptions, well over 100-yard game. Nice to see him have something go right for him. He's had a very injury-riddled season. But good game for Deebo, good game for Rams. I mean, not for Rams, for the 49ers. Chiefs, they're contenders. I think we all kind of knew this. No surprises here. They get the win over the Bucs, 27-24. Bucs made a little bit of a comeback. Tyreek Hill, 13 receptions, 269, and 3 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, 37-49, 462, 3 touchdowns. Him and Cheetah, one of the best, most dynamic duos in all of sports, not even just football, in the game today. In the games today. But yeah, if I said they were the best, I don't know if I really have much of an argument about that. Brady clearly has lost a step. Won his worst game this year, but it's pretty clear that he's lost a step. The Buccaneers are 7-5, so for championship contenders, not looking too great. Chiefs moved to 10-1. They're clearly one of the elite teams who's really surprised. The Packers beat the Bears 41-25. A-Rod 4 touchdowns, 211. He goes 21 for 29. Trubisky 3 touchdowns, 2 picks in his comeback game. Montgomery did go over 100 yards, so a little bit of an up there for Bears fans, but this game was all Packers. They're looking good. Wasted pick on Jordan Love, let's be real. I don't see A-Rod going to wild for a while. Again, maybe. If we're on episode 257, and Jordan Love's become one of the best quarterbacks in the league, I'll absolutely eat my words. But here, episode 17, y'all could have got one of these great rookie receivers and been even better. With that said, that concludes the NFL portion. We have reached the roundup, ladies and gentlemen, which has kind of turned into my recruiting area where I talk about recruiting. Past couple weeks, I've been talking about this monster class that Ohio State has been creating informing that him and Ryan Day and Ohio State have molded for 2022. Might as well call it the takeover. They got Quinn Ewers last week, number 2 player in the country, might end up being the number 1 player in the country, number 1 quarterback in the country for 2022. They just picked up the number 1 receiver, another 5-star, Caleb Burton. I think he's like the 10th on the composite. So 10th rate, a top 10 player in the country. Besides being the number 1 receiver in the country, it's getting ridiculous. I feel bad for Michigan fans, not just because the team sucks, but they have no future. I feel bad for Michigan. I feel bad for all of Big Ten, and eventually it's going to be everybody else's problem because there's no way this group, if they get, will probably be the greatest recruiting class of all time. If they get all the people they're training towards getting right now, which is a whole lot of that top part of that class, they might win. I wouldn't be surprised to see multiple national, not just one national champion, multiple national. I'm talking dynastic implications here in this 2022 class for them. Caleb Burton, possibly one of the first in what's going to be a lot of great players for Ohio State there. J.D. Davison, I have to talk about it. Dude's going crazy. Dude's averaging 50 points a game. I said this to my friends. J.D. Davison is playing right now in high school basketball like you think you would play in your dreams, where you're just faster and you just kind of glide to the hoop and you just jump. You're just better than everybody else. Like, this wouldn't even be realistic for 2K standards. He's putting up Chris Move, my player numbers. He's averaging like 50, 14, something ridiculous. Clearly establishing himself as the number 1 point guard in the nation. Has the most bunnies for sure in the entire class of 2021. JD, shout out to you. Didn't have his finest game against Scoot Henderson in Cal. So shout out to Scoot, another great player. I think he's trending to Texas, I think I heard right now. Another 5-star guard in that class. But JD just has been a phenom. Get acquainted. He's going to be here for a while, it seems, especially for the entertainment value. Get used to seeing him on SportsCenter with some of the stuff he's tried to pull off past couple games. With that said, we have reached the end of episode 17. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let's see. Again, prayers for Nate Robinson's family. Tough to see it. Such a formerly, an idol, a hero to many. Just completely get obliterated and massacred like that on live television. I'm shocked they even showed the cameras, to put a man in the downward dog on a knockout, face first. It's such a gruesome sight. So we're just praying for his families. Keep his families in your prayer. Keep his family in your prayers, should I say? And hopefully Nate's doing better. Hopefully he's able to recover. His image won't be able to recover, but hopefully he's able to recover. On a more serious note, happy birthday, Chadwick Boseman. I believe his birthday was yesterday. Black Panther lives forever. We miss you. Thank you for everything you gave us. Black Panther 2 coming. I know they just announced it, I think, a week ago or whatever, this past week. I'm sure I trust Coogler. I trust Marvel. I trust the people that are around that franchise, that they absolutely will hold it down and they will honor his legacy correctly. I believe that. I'm putting that in good faith. But happy birthday, Chadwick. We miss you. Legend forever. Legends live forever. And yeah, ends on a more somber note. But also, audio might be kind of up and down, might be a little janky. Dealing with, again, equipment changes as I'm moving back here for 2 months, and then I'll be back, of course, in the 704. But back in the 336, what can I say? Back home. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like, share, and subscribe. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ocho signing off.